Topic two, sir.
On that note about the state of the UNC program, it is rivalry weekend. Just don't be surprised. Whatever happens, don't be surprised. But I wanted to do one of those immaculate grids y'all did for your teams with both UNC and Duke for great and loved, great and divided, great and hated, average loved, average divided, average hated, and so on and so forth.
So you want to do it for who?
UNC and Duke.
Okay, deal.
Let's make two of these rules, or excuse me, two of these grids. I did some prep work, so yeah, but I'm gonna bounce some ideas off of you.
Lead us, Riley. Lead us.
So starting off with UNC for great player who is loved by fans. The obvious answer here, I think, is Hansbrough. Maybe the like not really a deep cut, but a slightly more deep cut here would be Marcus Page. I feel like Marcus Page is absolutely beloved by UNC fans, like on Hansbrough's level. He just doesn't have the national title that Hansbrough does, or the National Player of the Year.
Question: Are we putting ourselves in the shoes of Carolina and Duke fans here? Or are we doing fans of the sport at large?
Let's do like 80% Carolina and Duke fans here, 20% outside opinion.
So I was going to argue with Hansbrough. I don't know that you could say loved because I think the
Mm-hmm.
country hated Hansbrough, almost like Reddick, where
Mm-hmm.
he would be like the divided one for me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a good one.
I think I'd go Marcus Page
Let's
at
go
the
Marcus
great player.
Page.
I
Yeah.
Yeah,
think
I loved
Hansbrough should
Marcus
be the
Page.
great player fans are divided.
I like that.
I was so with great and divided. I went with Armando Bacot because UNC fans were like very split on him, even where
That's
like
good too.
I think a lot of UNC fans by the end of his 5 years were like, oh, he's overrated. And now those same UNC fans are like groveling at the feet of Armando Bacot when you see the state of our post rotation this year. But so you could go Armando, you could go Hansbrough. But I
I
think
like that.
if you're leaning more into the fan perspective, I think it'd be Armando.
Let's go Armando. Yeah.
Then great and hated among UNC fans is Rashad McCants. Just because he was the one who was like trashing the program and stuff and alleging that he took like he didn't go to class and was never punished for it or whatever. Like the whole academic scandal was tied into Rashad McCants.
I'm starting to notice every time we make these grids for teams, I absolutely love players that are in the hated fans category. Like I love Rashard McCants.
I mean, one of one for
That
sure.
3-2 was special in Argyle.
It really was.
That
The only
that
other great and hated player I could think of would be like Dawson Garcia among UNC fans because he dipped in the middle of the season.
no way. Is he really that hated by UNC fans?
I think UNC fans kind of like laugh at Dawson Garcia. Maybe that's me. I think because he had family stuff going on, but I think in the aftermath it was like, oh, he didn't want to be here or whatever. I don't feel that any type of way toward him. I think McCants is the clear one.
All right, let's put McCants there.
So for average and loved, I had
Manic.
Huh?
Manic.
Brady Manick was the one I had, but I didn't like. Does his March run elevate him above average to y'all?
No.
No.
Okay, so Brady
Brady
Manick it
Manic.
is.
Yeah.
Average and divided, I had two choices here between Garrison Brooks and Pete Nance.
Did anyone actually love Pete Nance other than me?
I feel like I'm a Pete Nance defender when UNC fans will like hate on his 1 year here just because I don't think it was his fault that team was so bad. I don't think he was used correctly. Brooks is the one who was there for a while to where like that the year where the tournament got canceled because of COVID, Garrison was putting up stupid numbers. The only problem was UNC won 14 games. And then the next year we benched Walker Kessler so we could watch Garrison Brooks
I
play
think it's
30
Garrison
minutes.
Brooks.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought
My
I
only
might be.
argument was Brooks might be too good for it for average, but given the team success, I think it's fine.
Yeah, I think he was he was a good big, but pretty average in the grand scheme of things.
That makes sense.
Average and hated, I would say JP Tokudo, who I don't know if like UNC fans like hated JP Tokudo, but it was always like this dude can jump out the gym, he can handle at 6'6" and pass, and it was just there was no in between for like mind-numbing turnover and like reverse in-game dunk.
Here's my issue. There's no way Caleb Love is getting off of this without being on the list.
Would you say I would say he's more like either great and divided or average and divided.
Yeah, maybe. I don't. I guess I'll trust you on where he belongs.
I probably put Caleb. Caleb
Calling
might
Caleb
be,
Love a great player is crazy to me.
but I think he's better than an average player. Like he's been an. I mean, he was an All American last year at Arizona, but
Yeah, but this is the UNC grid, not the Arizona grid.
I don't know if I would say he was even average at UNC. I would say he was good at UNC. and had moments of
Average
greatness.
is kind of average is good in this case.
I mean, he abandoned y'all after being the preseason number one, leading you to no postseason bid, and then just left in the middle of the night after hooking up with his backcourt mate's girlfriend.
But I
And
think
we're
you
like,
can't.
yeah, he was really good. We liked him. Like,
I wouldn't put Caleb Love in like the hated category though, just because like people will always go back to the shot against Duke.
I
Like
guess.
that keeps you immune from hatred. I would say he's divided. I mean, we could bump out Garrison Brooks for Caleb Love.
I'd bump him off for Garrison Brooks.
All right, we'll put Caleb Love at
I
average.
can't believe Carolina fans like love Caleb Love. I can't believe there's anyone who's still doing that. That's insane to me.
He sent
But
Coach K packing.
I mean,
like, don't if I'm trying to think of what an equivalent. Who's a if you had Michigan, like if
it's
well,
Hunter
how much?
Dickinson, but I hate Hunter Dickinson.
But
Like,
like if Hunter Dickinson knocked down a three to push you past
Hunter
Michigan
Dickinson
State
beat
in a Final
Michigan
Four
State for me
game,
multiple times.
but not in a Final Four. Like if Hunter Dickinson got you to a Final Four, don't you think you'd feel differently about him?
I don't
Yes.
know. I really don't think so.
Final Four is different, but
So is missing the tournament. Like, I just, yeah, the idea that you guys hate Rashad McCants, who, I
won a
mean,
championship.
won a national title for you, and don't hate Caleb Love
Listen,
is
first of all,
ludicrous
I
to
don't
me.
hate. I love Rashad McCants.
Me too.
He led the way for me. F school hoop. Like
I we
that's all
Love
it is.
doesn't have to go on here since we don't agree. I'm baffled by the way he's received still.
I guess it makes some sense. I don't know. Thanks for the memories. Word to follow, boy. Bad and loved. Here's one for you, Puff Johnson. People love Puff Johnson.
No way that people actually love Puff Johnson. Bad love is Theo Pinson.
Okay, Theo Benson wasn't bad. He would be average and loved. I
Yeah,
will
bad
argue that.
bad and loved is Theo Pinson.
Ah, fine. We can put Theo
We're
Benson on
gonna
there.
overrule you, and you don't have to admit that he's bad.
Bad and divided. I have like Jalen Withers and Vanilla Lubin on here.
Those guys are just bad, Riley.
There are people in the fan base going to like caping for them right now. How about James Michael McAdoo for bad and divided?
Wasn't
He was
good?
good, but yeah, fine.
All right, that's fine.
Bad and hated is either like Justin Pierce.
Nah, this is an easy answer. It's got to be Joel James
Joel James was the other name I had. I think it's who else are you going to
or
suggest, Corey?
Playtech.
I don't. Yeah, you could put Playtech on there. I think I'd give the edge to Joel James though.
Joel James used to piss me off. I wasn't even a UNC fan.
He would. Yeah, yeah. Joel James was bad.
Yeah, that I feel good about that grid.
So to recap, for great and loved, we have Marcus Page. For great and divided, we have Armando Bacot. For great and hated, we have Rashad McCants. For average and loved, we have Brady Manick. For average and divided, we have Caleb Love. For average and hated, we have JP Tokodo. For bad and loved, we have Theo Pinson. For bad and divided, we have James Michael McAdoo. For bad and hated, we have Joel James. Solid
Like it.
work.
So
All right.
yeah, solid.
Moving on to Duke. Great and loved, I had Zion, especially just because like everybody likes Zion.
Yeah.
Yep.
Great and divided, Jabari Parker.
Ooh, great and divided. Jabari. Where they? I was gonna say like Cam Reddish could go here.
I loved
Cam Reddish wasn't
Jabari.
great. But Jabari lost in the first round. Like he got packed up by Mercer.
Did did get danced on by Mercer.
Rodney.
Mercer, dude. Like they were literally dancing afterwards. Like white dudes hitting the nay after
That was
Parker got packed up by
that was
Mercer.
crazy.
I feel like great and divided's Reddick.
I guess we could throw Reddick on there just because he was so hated by the same.
If you factor in outside stuff, yeah, because people didn't mess with Reddick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's throw Reddick on there then. Great and hated. I mean, you could make a case like Jalen Johnson was the first name that came up just since he dipped from that team. But
They,
he wasn't.
he wasn't
He,
that great, but they did hate him.
I think you could put Kyle Filipowski in there just because I feel like Duke fans got really fed up with him last year.
Isn't it Grayson Allen?
But no, who? I mean, other fans hated Grayson. I feel like Duke fans loved Grayson Allen.
I feel like Duke fans would at least admit this dude sucks.
That's a good
Like,
point. I think it might be between like by that. Maybe it's between like Flip and Grayson Allen.
so
If
I
it's
guess
between
Duke,
those
Duke
two, I
fans
give it
probably
to
hate Flip more, but
Yeah.
I say Grayson.
Grayson.
Let's go
Either way is
Grayson.
fine by me.
You can go Grayson. Average and loved Tyrese Proctor was I think the clear-cut answer there.
Average in love. I was gonna say Quinn Cook.
But Quinn Cook got them he got them a national title to where I would say he's better than average.
Proctor's gonna get a one too, though.
Not necessarily.
He is Riley. Let's go Proctor. Let's go future national champion Tyrese
I
Proctor.
feel like people. Am I missing the love on Proctor? Maybe it's just because I've been shitting on Proctor for a
I
while
feel like
now.
Duke fan, all those Duke fan accounts have been gassing up Tyrese Proctor for 3 years now.
I think that my takeaway from this exercise is Cart and I are very removed from North Carolina, the state,
Hmm. Maybe for good reason too.
because I perceive many of these players very differently than Riley's saying the fan bases themselves to.
I would say I'm pretty tapped into how the fan base feels about these guys.
Yeah, I
I
You
agree.
think
got to you got to know your enemy.
Definitely.
Average and divided. Two names that came to mind were Mark Mitchell and Lance Thomas.
Lance Thomas.
I feel like some Duke fans will go to bat for Lance Thomas, and somehow he's stuck in the NBA for 7 years.
Honestly, Lance Thomas or who was that point? Thornton.
Derek Thornton. I had Derek
No,
Thornton and
not no, the other
oh
Thornton.
Tyler
Tyler
Thornton.
Thornton.
Tyler Thornton.
Tyler Thornton was so freaking average. He averaged 3 points a game.
I feel like people he was like the black eye on that really great team.
Should we put him in average and hated? I didn't have an average and hated.
Let's do that then. Yeah,
All right, we'll throw Lance Thomas for average and divided, Tyler Thornton for average and hated.
it works.
Bad and loved, Brian Zubek.
I like that.
Yeah, no, honestly,
Or Marshall Plumlee.
I'm gonna make this very easy for you. This is literally this category is Plumlee brothers.
Yeah, the Plumlee trio.
Mason is one.
What?
No, sorry. Yeah, Mason is one. Miles is two. What's the other one's name?
Marshall was the worst of the three.
Can I get Lee Melchione somewhere?
Who?
Lee Melchione.
I have no clue who that is.
That was my guy.
Lee, when did Lee Melchione even play there?
Sheldon Williams years.
Okay, so early 2000s.
Yeah, loved Lee.
Where would you put Lee if it was up to you, Greg?
I don't know. I just wanted to name drop that. Thank you.
Let's throw Lee and Tyler Thornton get to hold the banner together for average and hated.
All right, it works.
Okay.
Bad players, all the Plumlee brothers.
Bad and divided. I have Trevon Duval.
Yeah, that's fine.
He had that one dunk that was nice with the for real, but I think Duke players didn't like him
That was
outside of
nice
that.
with it, for real, for real.
Bad and hated. This is a joint award by Derek Thornton and Chase Jeter. They're holding that bad and hated belt together up on the podium.
Chase Jeter, good.
Chase
God.
Jeter was so bad.
Oh, he lied. Bishop
Mark-
Gorman set that place back 1,000 years, man.
Marquise Bolden's trying to push one of them off for a spot on that podium too for bad and hated, but
That makes sense.
I forgot
All right.
Chase Jeter existed.
Did he play?
yeah, I had fun deep diving some of these rosters, but
Yeah, that was that. I like that exercise. That's fun.